And so I will, by the grace of God. Like most of you, I was born in a small town and right at the end of the war. And though most of them would have been in the service at that time, we might not have thought of it as being all that great. But for young people just being born, just starting to grow up, the war years and the post-war years were wonderful. For the first time, my parents had a little bit of money in their pocket often. We hadn't had a lot of money for a long time. And our parents were a little more generous with it than they had been during the earlier years of the war. And I was no exception. I was 1939 when I was born, so the war ended. I was 6 years old. And I was the youngest of my father's 4 children. And he spoiled us. Really didn't want to use that word. He spoiled his children. And my mother also spoiled the children. And so growing up, those post-war years, it was a wonderful thing. We got most anything we wanted. And like most kids growing up in a small town, I went to church on Sundays. It was fun. I mean, there were things to do there. We saw our friends there that we maybe didn't see all during the week. And so it was, going to church was fun. So going to Sunday school usually was something to look forward to. Playing games and running around and chasing with the kids and maybe not going home right after church. And that just kind of continued as went on into lower grades and upper grades. Continued to go to Sunday school every Sunday. And we got into a time of what we in the old timers like to call the auto trade. And we had cars. And still like to go to church on Sundays. Because after church, after Sunday school, let's go down to Snake River Avenue. Where if nobody caught you, you could get away with racing your car down Snake River Avenue. And that kind of became a great passion. And I don't know why, I seemed to become something of a fearless little fellow. And I was the littlest one around because I was the smallest, youngest student in my class. I was born in April, so I turned 16 in April. And that fall, 1st of August, I started first grade. So I was born in April. I was school in September. So I was 5, just barely, when I started school. And I was smaller than everybody else. But unfortunately, I was just about as bright as everybody else, so I got along just fine. And I liked all the usual things. Girls, cars, racing. And eventually that kind of just drew me off the track. A little bit by a little bit. So the time came when I found out that I didn't have to go to church on Sundays. And I could still get my need for going fast in a car or whatever without going to church on Sunday. And that got just a little bit farther away. And eventually, of course, I was way out of legality as far as driving the cars were concerned. You're supposed to be 16, or at least to drive at night. You had to be 16. I was 12, 13 years old. and I was driving every place. And I don't know when exactly it all fell off the track, but all of a sudden I didn't think very much about church at all. But that was all right. I got through okay. I got good grades and didn't get in trouble, didn't get thrown in jail much. And for the most part, things went pretty well. But I was drinking too much, driving too fast, too much of the time. And then I met a young lady who turned out to be Hannah. And it seemed to be more fun than speed. And eventually we worked and got ourselves back into college. Well, she never had to get back in. I did. She worked for me. She was got back into college and started going back to college. And eventually she got her degree and we got married. And I started working towards my degree and was able to get it. And we got jobs working down here in Oregon, which was a pretty good job, pretty good paying job. We liked what we were doing and everything. And we had Joe Jr., who was really the light of our lives at that time. And we moved to Oregon, and things were going okay. I would have said things were just fine, but I really didn't know that. And one day Joe complained about pain in his leg. And he took him to the doctor, and he came home and said, well, the doctor says he has the doctor says that he has late calf Perthes disease. I have no idea what that is even until today. But I do know that it meant that he had to have a brace on his lower leg, his lower right leg. It would start 2 inches above the ground and go all the way up to his knee, up to his hip, and attached to his body up here with braces and pieces of steel that was bored into his chest. And of course we were devastated, but he said, take him home for 2 weeks, see if by any, we'll see, comes back, we'll take x-rays, see if there's anything better, see how it's doing. Maybe it'll get better and start to reduce a little bit. You didn't hear an awful lot about cancer in those days for little boys and everything. It was just a new thing. So I got a couple of gym dollies from school. Those of you are familiar with this. Little scooters that sit about 2 inches off the ground and you scoot around on them. And the kids play ball or whatever with them. And so we got a set of those. And I just had him sit around and he'd scoot around on his bottom in the house. Just scoot all over the place. Never touched the ground. And we had to go someplace, I'd pick him up and carry him, or carry him into the restaurant or whatever. And we did that for 2 weeks. And at the end of 2 weeks, took him back to the doctor and took him in. The spot was gone. totally, the spot was totally gone. Well, Uni eventually told me that she had said that she had prayed to God that God would alleviate the tumor or whatever, I guess. And I don't know what she said she'd do. It's hers. But I had prayed to God that if God would take care of that tumor, that I would turn my life around. And the tumor was gone after the 2 weeks. Well, that's just one. You know. But then I got to thinking, God's a pretty good-sized guy to make a bet with, or any kind of bartering with. And determined that maybe I would look at everything in my life. Now, I sugarcoated how my life was because I was far worse than I might have said here, but that's just out of embarrassment. But I told God, I said, God, maybe you've been right all this time, maybe I've been wrong. And maybe I have to look at the idea of stop judging people, stop judging myself, and I just simply need to sit down and see how I can make myself a better person, make myself a better man, and stop trying to make myself into somebody else or somebody else into myself. Or is that right? Okay. And then along comes another great day in our lives when we have David. I don't know how much you know about David, and I know that David wasn't sweet or anything, but David was not a sinner. This was a neat kid, a wonderful boy, thoughtful and kind, and couldn't have asked for a better son, couldn't have asked for a better father. He's one who tries so hard in every way. I can't imagine having anybody there with my back than our son David. I've been gloriously blessed by my family and by my friends and the people around me, my job. You know, all I had to do in the first place was just listen to what God was trying to tell me. He'd already given it to me, all of it. And you can't ask for any more than that. For God to give you career, family, friends, neighbors, and not ask anything for it. It was just there. I just didn't have enough brains through a good share of my life to reach out, pick it up. Any other questions?
Oh. Shall we open up to?
Sure, if you like.
Yeah, at this time, Joe is willing to answer any questions that you might have.
Doesn't have to have anything to do with my life or my, whatever. If you have questions about the cancer, I'd be happy to answer any question about the cancer, what it's been like going through it, where I think I am. And I'd be more than willing to take any questions like that.
I don't have a question, but I want to say that we have been very blessed to have Joe and Uni with us. this last, however many years.
6 years.
6 years that they have been with us. We have been so blessed to have them with us. I'll second that.
David is.
Yes.
David?
I want to hear about the bad stuff you did. You skipped over.
Well,
You're here.
the bad stuff is not, it's not necessarily, it's not bad stuff. I mean, you're
Playful
right.
teenage stuff.
I am here. I mean, but
No
God
problem.
God doesn't care, doesn't answer
I
the
mean the
bad
fun
stuff.
stuff.
God doesn't, you know, God only wants to be on the good guys that he sees. He's interested in your goodness.
Any? Yes.
Yeah.
She told us about the time that you had a heart attack, that first time. Do you remember that?
It wasn't a heart attack, but it was a bad angina attack and had to have your surgery.
Well, no, the angina attack
Well,
was,
talk about where you were sitting on the bed and
Oh.
you spilled your pills.
I had an angina attack about 24 years, 23 years ago. I had a bad angina attack. I had a bad day. Cat had died. There'd been just a lot of things. Came home, found the cat dead, drowned in the swimming pool. So it's just been a bad day, and I started having bad angina attack right in here, and it didn't go away. And it stayed there for,
Hours.
from about 10 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock at night. And I had taken several CNT, nitroglycerin tablets. And so finally I told this, I think I better call 911, so you can get a hold of it, and advice you. No, you better have him come.
And you were sitting on the bed.
And she called, and they said, well,
They came.
we'll have them come over. They'll send the angina. They'll send the ambulance, what they said. And they don't always take you. They might just come and examine and say, well, don't find anything, don't seem anything bad here. So they come over, I guess.
With the nitro pills on when you were sitting on the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay.
before that, this is what I understand, I'm not sure. I had sat down on the side of the edge of the bed to put some more nitro tablets in my hand. And I thought I dropped them. And the next thing I know, I was sitting up in the corner of the room, looking at myself, drop the angina, or the nitroglycerin tablets. I was up here, and I was down here watching myself try to get those angina TNT tablets off the ground. So basically having, some people call, I guess, out-of-body experience that just happened. And then kind of the same thing happened the last time when I had the sugar attack, and my blood sugar was 27. And I woke up when, as the EMT was putting the intravenous line into my elbow here, and my hip line here. You're not supposed to have those things.
They tell about your cancer, about this journey part of it.
Well, this part of it, I'm pretty honest. My guess is that I have a week to live, approximately a week to live. And this is a pretty good indication of it here. in that if I make one very small mistake in moving, then I'm just as likely as not to find myself on the floor. And I don't mind finding myself on the floor. That happened lots years ago. But then I can't get back up. It's a big problem.
Oops.
Getting back up. So,
How you feel about it, how you feel about it.
well, yeah, people have asked me how I feel about dying. And I don't feel bad about it. I'm not worried about dying. I've had all these good years and all these good things through the years. I'm not frightened. I think I have an idea now what it will be like. I don't think I'm going to be ranting and raving in pain. I might be wrong on that, but I kind of feel that I made a deal with the EMTs and the nurses, and you know that if I would be happy to go through it, no problem. Well, hear you. Your phone.
No.
If they just let me go through it pain-free, then they wouldn't hear any griping or moaning or groaning out of me at all. And that's pretty much the way it's been. I don't blame anybody. I don't blame God. Actually, at this point in time, I'm kind of praising God because He's keeping His end of the bargain really quite well. Doing what I asked Him to do. And when I get through it pain-free, and we'll be just fine, you and me. And I am. God's been good to me. Don't ever want to hear anybody saying, "Oh, God, you're so." That's not true. God has been good to me all my life. And He's doing the same thing now.
Yeah, Mark has a question.
Hi, Mark. Huh?
How are you doing?
Oh,
I'm day at a time, just trying to be there for him when he needs me, and just trusting God too to take care of us. And so far, so good.
yeah. Yeah, well, she's really got a strong will.
Any more questions?
When were you baptized? When were you baptized?
When will we put
Oh,
that?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Well,
When David was
I was actually 2 times, but nobody has any recollection of the first time. I'm pretty sure I was baptized in First Baptist Church in Lewiston, Idaho, when I was a child, probably 2, 3, 4 years old, one in there. But because I wanted to make sure that there wasn't any questions or anything about it, I was born when David was baptized.
baptized when David was
I was born, I was David, I was baptized. I was baptized when David was born at
Smith Memorial.
Smith Memorial Presbyterian in Gresham, Trout Hill. So same time as David. I would have been baptized at Hollywood, but I knew I'd already been baptized, so I didn't feel I should have to go through it again. He was there, she was there, everybody else was there, so. There's no question of my belief in God, and didn't have any doubt in my blessing at that time, so.
Any more questions? Yes.
Yeah.
Julie?
We were married in October 13th.
No, August.
August 13th, excuse me, August 13th, if you can, you lose your mind, also. August 13th, 1960. And so,
in Lewiston.
in Lewiston, Idaho. Yeah. And so August 10th is a biggie. You know, August 10th was a big thing. And then this is also, the 10th is also the anniversary of our son Joe's death. So, pardon?
1 year.
The 1 year. 1 year for Joe.
These are our three
Yeah,
grandsons,
these are our 3 grandsons.
James, Dawson, and Parker.
Our good guys. All right.
I'm shaking a little bit.
Yeah, he's shaking a little bit.
Oh.
One of the ones too.
That's fine. Anything else? Well, I thank you for coming and listening. You know, nice. I hope that at least 1 or 2 people would be interested in your life for death.
Well, thank you so much, Joe.
John,
Yes,
I guess, John.
Okay, thank you, John. Okay. So, I have two.
Thank you.
You walking with you?
Yeah.